The movie starts with a scene where a dog runs toward an old man with its mouth full of blood, staining his white suit. The scene then shifts to Bottle, a family judge, who seemingly has a happy family with her doctor husband, Milan, and their son. As usual, this weekend, Bottle and her close friend Isabel have a getaway retreat to Bottle's aunt's villa on the Belgian coast. Their husbands drop them off at the train station, and the two women depart happily. However, things are not as perfect as they seem. Once on the train, the two immediately review their plan to coordinate cheating on their husbands back home. Tonight, Bottle will attend a lecture by a philosopher and will carry both her and Isabel's phones because Isabel's husband, Luc, has put a GPS tracker on her phone. Meanwhile, Isabel will stay at a hotel in the city center and go to a nightclub. She also hands Bottle her burner phone number. This is not the first time they've done this, and Bottle reminds that next time they will have to follow her plan. When the train arrives at the station, they take a selfie together to send to their husbands before going their separate ways. Bottle takes a taxi to the suburban villa, where she finds her younger sister Yara. It seems that Bottle and her sister don't get along well due to Yara's rebellious nature. After Yara leaves, Bottle goes for a swim. Meanwhile, Isabel arrives at the hotel in the city center and checks into her usual room. We see Isabel in the hotel room holding a thick stack of money. In the evening, Bottle attends the lecture, and as soon as she gets there, she takes photos using both her phone and Isabel's phone, then sends them to their husbands to prove that they are together. The lecture's topic is about truth and deception. Bottle happens to catch the attention of the lecturer, Michael, who approaches her to talk at the post-lecture party, and they seem to connect with each other. Bottle suggests they go for a boat ride to enjoy the scenery, and he agrees. Meanwhile, Isabel arrives at the nightclub and has fun there. We see her giving money in an envelope to a man, and then she follows someone to the back of the club. At this time, Bottle has taken Michael back to her place, and they get intimate. However, in the middle of the night, she still takes photos inside the house to prove that she and Isabel are just having a cozy girls' night. The next morning, while Bottle is still sleeping next to Michael, Luc calls demanding to speak with Isabel. Bottle lies and says Isabel is in the bathroom and can pass on the message, but Luc reveals that he broke his ankle and needs Isabel to come home immediately. Bottle then calls Isabel on her burner phone to inform her about the situation. Isabel tells Bottle she will go back alone, and Bottle should stay and enjoy herself, but she needs to pick up her phone from the house. Bottle tells Isabel that she'll leave the phone on the table and the house key under the mat. Later, when Bottle finds Michael still there, they decide to go to the beach together. Michael seems very interested in Bottle, but she coldly tells him that she is married, and what happened yesterday was just a one-night stand. Feeling offended, Michael leaves. Shortly after, as Bottle is leaving the beach and heading home, she sees the dog and the man from the beginning of the movie. Feeling uneasy, she hurries inside the house and discovers a pool of blood at the entrance and Isabel's trolley next to it. Her phone also is no longer there. At that moment, Luc calls, but Bottle is too afraid to answer and decides to call the police. The police start questioning Bottle, but she deliberately avoids giving direct answers and only states that she wasn't present when everything happened. Afterward, Bottle calls Milan and informs him about Isabel's disappearance. She then calls Luc and asks if he can track Isabel's phone, but he tells her that Isabel's phone is turned off, so they can't track it. Later, she goes to the hotel where Isabel was staying, but they can't provide any helpful information. Bottle also visits the nightclub, but the manager doesn't know anything either. Disappointed, she returns and tries calling Isabel again, but it's still unreachable. At that moment, Milan and Luc arrive, and the next morning, they meet with the police. The police inform them that the blood found on the floor matches Isabel's DNA, and they will intensify the investigation. Luc is in shock and unable to cope, so Milan takes him away. The police mention that Isabel's phone was last confirmed to be at the house and was turned off afterward. They notice Bottle's phone was at the house the same time. Bottle explains that she went swimming and left her phone at home. The police then inquire if anyone can verify her alibi, and Bottle mentions Michael as her friend who can vouch for her. Milan starts feeling suspicious about Bottle being questioned by the police, so she decides to reveal to him that Isabel was not there on Friday night and is at a hotel instead. She admits to covering for Isabel but doesn't mention being with another man herself. Later, the police call Bottle and inform her that they found Isabel's phone with a photo of her lying in a pool of blood, seemingly strangled with a garrote, which appears to be made from piano wire. Luke can't handle the situation and leaves with Milan. Meanwhile, the police continue to show Bottle that they found a message on the dark web, saying, "Mission complete," from an anonymous killer to an user named Zadkin1337. Bottle is devastated by Isabel's death and goes to the restroom to cry before returning home. She receives a package at the door, and it turned out to be Luke's new novel. Milan advises Bottle to be truthful about Isabel to the police for a better investigation. That night, she tells Luke that Isabel wasn't there on Friday night, but he stubbornly refuses to believe her. The next morning, Bottle seeks a lawyer and explains her predicament about not fully cooperating with the police. She then goes to the police station with her lawyer to give her statement. However, the police have lost trust in her due to her constantly changing statements. They also reveal that Michael denies being with her on Saturday, making the situation even more complicated. Back at home, Bottle receives a video call from her son. He mentions that his homework is still in Milan's computer. Seeing Milan is arguing with Luke, Bottle tells her son she will ask his father later. That night, while Bottle is sleeping, she wakes up to find Luke staring at her, accusing her of being a cheater. He also knows that Bottle advised Isabel to leave him. Milan enters the room, and Luke leaves. The next day, Bottle goes to meet Michael at the university where he teaches and asks why he didn't testify for her. He mentions that Bottle wanted to deny their relationship, which upset him. After Bottle tells everything to Michael, he agrees to vouch for her. At that moment, the lawyer calls and informs them that the police found video footage of Isabel at the hotel. When Bottle and the lawyer go to the police station to watch the CCTV footage, they realize that on Friday early morning, Isabel is back with none other than Yara, Bottle's younger sister. The police say they will summon Yara for questioning. Meanwhile, Milan and Bottle are attacked by Luke, who accuses Milan of knowing about Bottle's affair but doing nothing about it. Afterward, Yara appears, startling Bottle. When Bottle questions about her and Isabel, she jokingly says they plan to run away and start over. However, now that Isabel is dead and Yara's passport is confiscated, she needs Bottle's help to check if there is a red notice against her. Even though Bottle doesn't pay much seriousness to what Yara says, she still helps her to check. Before leaving, Yara hinted that the assassination plot might be targeting Bottle, not Isabel, and she also gave her sister a taser. Back at home, while thinking, Bottle's son calls her, reminding her about his homework. Since Milan is busy with Luke, Bottle decides to open the computer to get the assignment for her son. To her horror, she finds out a hidden camera in the room is recording her, linking directly to Milan's computer. Terrified, she immediately closes the computer, and at that moment, Milan walks in. That night, while Milan is asleep, Bottle wakes up and opens the computer again. She discovers even more shocking things when she finds a file containing videos of herself sleeping with other men, proving that Milan had installed hidden cameras all over the house. Feeling horrified, she quickly closes the computer. This makes her feel nauseous, and it wakes Milan up. She then uses the excuse of going to take a bath and secretly leaves the house with the computer, going to the police station. However, when she opens the video file, there is nothing. Bottle intends to explain, but due to the dishonesty that happened before, the police no longer believe her and think she's making up stories. Bottle then goes to meet Michael, who is happy to see her. However, while playing the piano, she notices a missing string and suspects Michael of killing Isabel. She runs away and finds Milan waiting outside. Milan explains that he saw the address on Michael's lecture brochure. Back home, Milan drugs her with a drink and pills, but she spits out the pill and arms herself with a taser. When passing Luke's room, she sees him unconscious on the floor, but Milan stops her from calling an ambulance, fearing further complications. Later, Bottle realizes that Milan drugged Luke and used the taser to knock him out before tying him up. She confronts him about hiring a hitman named Zadkin on the dark web to kill her secretly. But Milan reveals it's just his hobby to spy on her and others through cameras, and he never hired anyone to kill her. While Bottle charges her phone to call the police, she notices Luke's new book, realizing that the main character is Zadkin, the same username as the person who ordered the hit on her but mistakenly killed Isabel instead. Meanwhile, Luke advances from behind and grabs the taser from Bottle. Luke confirms her suspicions and accuses her of being the reason for their marital problems. When Milan calls Luke's name, Bottle takes the opportunity to run away. Luke chases her with an axe, and she runs to the beach and dives into the sea. As Luke swings the axe down towards the water, Bottle sneaks up behind him, drown him until he stops moving. Shortly after, the police arrive, retrieve Luke's body, and conclude that he hired the hitman to kill Bottle but got Isabel instead. Back at the house, Bottle thinks everything is clear and opens Luke's book again, noticing Isabel's signature on the first page. She goes to see her sister Yara, but Yara has just left for a private airport in Ostend. Bottle drives there and finds both Yara and Isabel planning to run away and start over. Bottle is angry and slaps Isabel. But she explains that it's all staged to protect her and give them a chance to start over. Yara discovered Luke's plan, paid double to stop the hitman, and staged the assassination plot to warn her. They don't want Bottle to get involved, so they keep the plan hidden. After saying goodbye, Bottle gives Yara her passport, which she retrieved from the police. Yara and Isabel board the plane and take off. Right at that moment, Bottle receives a call from Michael, and she happily answers the phone. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and like for more videos like this.